Siobhan. Shavoni? Shavon? I'm just taking a stab at it. I think it's Siobhan, but anyways. She's from Virginia, and she had a question regarding bass drum pedal. Basically, she's just saying the guys that she plays with complain that she's playing too light on the pedal. So she needs to know how to get more volume off the pedal. She said she's tried lifting her heel and hitting harder, but can't seem to get the volume. What can I do? There are basically two things that affect volume as far as your bass drum pedal goes. One is technique. Another is adjustments. You can adjust your pedal so that you can get more power out of it. The first thing, of course, that you want to start to work on is your technique, and it starts with seat height. Now, there's nothing really too tough about this. Like when I say technique, I don't think it's going to be something that you're going to have to work for hours and days on. It's just a matter of making sure that you're seated right, and then it's just a matter of using your leg. So I see one common mistake that a lot of beginner drummers make when they're sitting on the kit, and it's basically that they're sitting way too high. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're shorter dudes that are doing this. And they're just sitting too high. And what happens when you sit too high for younger, shorter people is that they're not seated in an optimal position to push that pedal all the way down with any kind of power. So it starts there. You have to make sure that you're seated on the kit so that essentially what you want to be able to do is sit on the kit so that at a rested position, your knees are slightly pointed downwards, just a little bit, but your whole foot should be able to rest on the pedal while you're just sitting there, okay? If you're hitting the pedal with just your toes while you're seated comfortably, you're sitting too high. You have to be able to, 100% of your foot should be resting on the pedal while you're just sitting on the drum. So essentially, the pedal, if you can sort of imagine, stays in the on position, which is this right here, all right? So as long as you're sitting like that, you're cool. From there, it's just a matter of using the weight of your leg, you know, to push that pedal down. And essentially that's where you're going to get your power from, is using the weight of your leg. If you're sitting too high in your kit and all you have on the pedal, the only contact you have is with your toes, then, you know, you're not going to be able to push that pedal down with any kind of power. So that's the first thing. Just make sure you're seated on the kit, you know, comfortable enough, and that 100% of your foot is sitting on the pedal, and you can push it all the way down like that. Okay, that's basically your on position. There are adjustments that can be made on your pedal as well to get you more power. And the first one, like most cheap pedals have, you know, these basic adjustments now. But there's generally a nut on the side, like on the right side of the pedal. You can loosen that and adjust the beater angle. So sometimes, and a lot of professional drummers do this too, because, you know, they can just get more power out of it. But what you do is you loosen the side. There's a nut on the side there. You just loosen it off, and then you can move the angle of the beater without actually moving the pedal. Like this is still tight, so the pedal's moving. But you can loosen it, and it loosens this attachment here, and you can adjust the angle. So that's all you're going to do is just loosen it off and adjust the beater so that it sits back a little more. That way you get way more throw. It adds more weight to the actual beater, and it just creates more leverage. So it's just a sort of way to cheat, I guess, and get more power out of your bass drum by just setting the angle way back here. All right, so now it's traveling, you're whipping it from a farther distance, you're going to get more power out of it that way. So, you know, that's the one main adjustment that you can do. A lot of guys like to, I don't know if they like to do this or if they just don't know they can adjust it. But on a lot of pedals, the beater is way too close to the head. And if it's only traveling that much, you're not going to get a whole lot of power out of it. So if you're whipping it back from way back here, you know, you're going to get more power. Another thing you can do is add a weight to it. There are weights, like aftermarket weights that you can get. You take out the beater, slide the weight on. You can move the weight all the way up near the top of the beater. And again, just adds weight, you get more leverage, you get more power. So those are the main ways that you can get more volume out of your kit. But it starts with seated position. Before you start messing with adjustments, I would just, you know, start with the proper seating and make sure that's cool. And if you want to add more power on top of that, you can do that.